Ireland enchants everyone who visits. From its ancient history to its dramatic landscapes and modern, lively cities, it's a fantastic place to visit.
Welcome to Paper Ink and Passports Travel. Today I am talking with Steve Fenton. He is the leisure sales director, the luxury leisure sales director for the MHL Hotel Collection in Ireland. This company includes the InterContinental Dublin, the Westin Dublin, Powerscourt Hotel and Spa, and Glenlo Abbey, which are a couple of the virtuoso properties in Ireland. So Steve, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me about Ireland and all the fun things that we can do in Ireland.
My pleasure, Sarah. It's great to be with you this Friday afternoon as we move into the weekend. So, no, it's my absolute pleasure. I am very fortunate. I love my country. For a period of my career, I actually worked for our national tourist board, so I was very neutral, selling the island of Ireland. So I love what I do, and I'm sure for those that have visited Ireland or Dublin, have there's never been any complaints, not that I know of. But and for those to visit, you're in for a good surprise. So as you can tell, I love my city, which is behind me. That's Dublin. We're moving into the weekend now, here on a Friday afternoon. But we have a gorgeous country, an absolutely wonderful country.
Yeah.
So easy job. That's it. I have an easy job.
It's travel in general is a pretty easy job when you love what you do and you love the destinations that you sell. So
No, it absolutely is. And, we're in tough times right now, and it's going to be our biggest challenge ahead for the next short and medium term. But I think in our community and certainly in the luxury leisure community within Ireland and internationally, we are so passionate about what we do, and it's true. We're so connected. We're so connected with everybody, and it's a natural desire to make people happy, and that's from our side, either from hotels or from you with your clients, and that's what we do. So we're lucky that we have that passion, for sure.
absolutely. Well, and I have no complaints about Ireland. I think I've been now 5 or 6 times. I've seen most of the country. And I love it. I've been caught in rainstorms, hiking up in Donegal, and walked through Dublin in the misting rain, and
Rain, rain. That's
it was
very
it was
unusual, Sarah. No, no.
it's rare. I had sun most of the time, but just that one day.
I know. Yeah, well, it's good. It keeps us green. It's what we're known for. But yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the city I was born, raised in this city behind me, and it's a city, but it's small, it's compact, it's very safe, and it is a city, so it has that vibrancy, it has that feel. And then we're very loyal to Dublin, but as you move out of Dublin and visit Galway, Cork, Kerry, and even up to Northern Ireland, it really does give you the true essence of Ireland, and that real slower pace, conversations, the hellos, with the locals. So I think really getting out of the city. I mean, Dublin is perfect for a couple of days. It really is 2 to 3 nights. We'd love to have you more, but certainly if your clients, for example, are doing a 5 or 7 night tour, Dublin is fabulous for 2 to 3 nights. You can come stay with us at the Westin or the InterContinental, or indeed Powerscourt, which is outside of Dublin, about a half an hour, and just absorb the city. Lots of our visitors that come to Dublin sometimes don't even have an itinerary because they know it's small. They don't have to jump on an underground or take public transport. So they can take in like the key highlights like Trinity College, which is next door to Weston. They can visit Guinness Storehouse. We've got amazing whisky distilleries like Jameson, of course, that brand. Teeling is the new one. And then, of course, the gin explosions as well.
Gosh,
And
yes.
do those, and like lots of cultural attractions as well. We've got the National Gallery. And then it's all about absorbing the city. And as we move into our new norm, attractions, all of our retail and pubs, we're all modifying, but we're known for our welcome. It's about filling your heart with Ireland and creating those memories. That's what we're known for. So look, we will not let this beat us. You know, we will find a way of making everybody smile. We may not be able to hug a lot as much as we do, but we'll work our way around that. So that really that feel, you know, that essence of Dublin, that welcome, we won't go away. We'll be still here, but we'll just modify it. So certainly in Dublin, everybody falls in love with the city and the culture and the feel and the ease of getting around. And then, as I say, you know, even for us locals, we love to jump in a car, go down to Galway, which is 2 hours away. We've got our great Glenlo Abbey hotel and estate, which is 10 minutes from Galway city. Galway is the city of tribes. That's what it's known as. And if you think Dublin is more relaxed as a city, Galway is at another level. It's very boho. So it's very much cultural. It's on the Wild Atlantic Way. So, you know, we've got Connemara.
Oh, yeah.
An amazing, beautiful landscape. You know, and the next stop, I suppose, over the Atlantic is onto the east coast of the USA. So Galway is phenomenal. And then, you know, we've got properties all along that way, and then down to Cork and Kerry, and there's some fine properties down there as well to explore. And Kerry is absolutely stunning too.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. For the viewers who might not know what the Wild Atlantic Way is, why don't you explain a little bit of that? You know, I know it's mostly the West Coast, but does it nominally starts down in the Kerry area and all the way up into Donegal, right?
You just said it in one, correct? Exactly. So it goes really from kind of Cork, Kerry, right up to Donegal, which is, you've been there, Donegal is exquisite. And you know what, sometimes you don't have phone connection up there, but hey ho, that's what it's about. Isn't it nice being disconnected?
It is.
God, it's absolutely stunning, you know, up on that coastline there.
It's so different too, I felt like.
Yeah, different feel up there, and people are so unbelievably friendly up in Donegal. The tagline up in Donegal is Donegal has it all, and they're very proud of that. So certainly they do, and it's a wonderful county. So absolutely, you know, bypassing Ashford Castle, Dromoland, ourselves in Glenlo and Galway, and then right down Clare, you know, and then you've got Ashford Castle, and then Cork and Kerry, you know. So right along that Wild Atlantic Way. So the tourist board did a great job. They kind of segmented the areas. So we've got like Ireland's ancient east.
Oh yeah.
Then which incorporates Dublin down to Waterford and, you know, Wexford and all of that area, and then Wicklow, and then, you know, you've got the Hidden Heartlands, which is kind of in the middle of Ireland. So they've done a really good job of sectioning it, but certainly the Wild Atlantic Way has been phenomenally, you know, successful. It's really gorgeous out there, you know, and it's so close because you can actually fly into Shannon International Airport, which is got great access from major gateway cities in the US direct. And then Glenlo, for example, is an hour from Shannon International Airport, an hour's drive or transfer. So very close. And then, as we said, over to the East Coast into Dublin, then it's a 2-hour drive to Galway, for example, from Dublin International Airport. So sometimes your clients might fly in to Shannon and fly out of Dublin, or vice versa, whichever they like. I mean, we can get around our island easily. It's an island, you know, so we're lucky, you know.
Yeah, you're a little limited in the places that you can go, but I find it really easy to drive around Ireland. And
if you're brave.
Okay. Yeah, with the hedgerows, you know, you're driving along and you've got, well, they're stone walls, but they don't look like it. They look like trees till you get too close to the side of the road.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the rental car companies have a field day with returning cars.
Yeah, there could be a little few scratches and scrapes, but you know, that's sometimes part of the journey. But you know, it's those small. We find it ourselves, but you know what? That is always the memories. And sometimes when I travel over to the US or internationally, and we're having a giggle, and clients say to me, you know, God, just those roads. My husband and I nearly divorced over those roads. So yeah, and for us sometimes the signpost, thankfully Google Map has really assisted us. But
Unless you're in Donegal.
that's the fun. Pardon me?
I said unless you're in Donegal.
Yes, that could be the challenge. But you know what? Stop off at a local pub and they'll be happy to direct you.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember that most of the, well, okay, I should back up a bit. I told you we traveled with my mother, my grandmother, and my cousin back in 2011. And we really like going off the beaten path. And I mean, really off the beaten path. I had a National Geographic tour book, one of their guidebooks, which very similar to Lonely Planet and all the other ones, but they mentioned a few places that I hadn't seen in any of the other books. And one of them was an abandoned fishing village. So we decided we were going to go find it. And I think we must have, at some point, my grandmother was like, where are we? All the road signs were in Gaelic. They were the size of my computer. So, yes. And they weren't really roads. But we found it in the end.
And remember the name of it, Sarah?
Oh, gosh. I could look it up for you.
Oh, that's okay. Well, Kilbegs is the main one up there. That'd be their biggest, their fishing village. But
this was abandoned. This was one that had,
wow, okay,
had been with stone houses that were in ruins.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I remember it. It was in it was at kind of the mouth of a very long inlet. It was Port something. We stayed in Killybegs.
Okay.
But we definitely went off to this abandoned, and it looked like people would come down there. There were a couple boats in there that looked like they were being used, but no one lived there.
Wow. Okay.
It was interesting.
No, I do not know this, and I'm trying to rack my brains there with that, what the name of it is. I'll probably think at about 3 a.m. this morning, but don't worry, I won't call you. But it has. I mean, look, we've actually had some phenomenal weather the last week. Now, it is changing this weekend, but we've had a real heat wave, and it's been beautiful. And we all, as Irish people, we always say, "God, we live in the most beautiful country when the sun is shining."
Really, really, really.
I think we're all going to no more so than you're different than your good selves. We're going to explore our country this year, I think, and over the next couple of months. So, what's on our doorstep, and hopefully, I'll be able to report back to you with some secrets that we've found out.
Oh, please do.
Yeah. So we, and it does happen. There's undiscovered areas and off the beaten track, as you say, that are out there, and there's some counties that I haven't visited, and they're on the list this year, and like yourself, some states or some areas that you haven't seen. So we look at our backyard to see what's going on in our own community and our own areas, and just see what's going on in Ireland, and then great, because then we can come back with a new list for you.
That'd be great. But let's talk a little bit about, for clients who haven't been to Ireland before, they probably don't want to go as far off the beaten path as I would. So what are some of your, top 5 places in Ireland for, let's say they have 7 days, top 5 places that you would send people or recommend?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, look, I always find starting off in Dublin is a good point. You're flying in, you come in over the overnight, you stay either with us in the Westin or InterContinental Dublin. There are city properties. Westin is right downtown, so it's right by Trinity College, so a phenomenal location. And then the InterContinental Dublin is a more urban resort. It's 10 minutes from the city, so it's a former Four Seasons property. It's located in Baldbridge, which is a bit like, I suppose, the Kensington of of London. It's very residential in a beautiful area. So we would say kick off in Dublin. Start off there. It's great, great for a couple of days. And as I said earlier, pack in as much as you can. Do the sights, the sounds, the tours. Guinness Storehouse is an absolute must. You can't not come to Dublin and see Guinness.
Even if you don't like Guinness, definitely go.
Listen, and it has the best views, the gravity bar. You can have a pint of Guinness up there. It's included in the tour. And you look over right across the coastline because we're coastal as well. So we've got some little fishing villages outside Dublin City, Hope and Malahide and all of those areas that I really like to explore on day trips as well if you want to get out and about. So a couple of days, absolutely do it for Dublin. And then what we'd say is, look, head over, as I say, to the west, go to Galway. Glenlo Abbey Hotel and Estate is over there. It's exquisite. We have 50 bedrooms there. We're putting on another 25 at the moment to bring us up to 75. But Glenlo is an 18th century manor home and abbey. So it's exquisite. So very much, I suppose, an independent property, although it's in our collection. It does have a very much a family-owned, independent feel. Our owners actually live only 10 minutes from Glenlo, so they're always in and out of the property, fixing things up, looking what needs to be changed. Very much an eye to, the detail there. So Glenlo is located, it's right on Lough Corrib, so it's Ireland's largest second lake. So we have our own private jetty. So the estate is 180 acres of estate, private estate. So it's all about being outdoors for Glenlo. And as I mentioned, Connemara, the forest there is stunning all the way. So, I mean, Lough Corrib goes right up to Ashford Castle. So sometimes guests will stay in Ashford and then come down to Glenlo to stay with us and incorporate kind of in the castle feel, like Dromoland Castle, all of those as well. So we're in that loop, if you want to say. So certainly then, guests can go down to Kerry as well. Kerry is the kingdom in Ireland. It is stunning. I mean, really, it is just that picture perfect postcard Ireland, Places like, the Europe Hotel down there are phenomenal. They're exquisite hotels. And then even like, down to Limerick to Adair, stunning, world class. And then to Cork, Hayfield Manor down there, gorgeous properties. We all work very closely together. Certainly kind of along that area, and I keep saying the Wild Atlantic Way, I could not, endorse and encourage a visit. You were there. It's the real essence of Ireland. Get into the hustle and bustle. And then what we say then is once you've done that for 7 nights, come back over. If your clients are flying out of Dublin, we have Powerscourt Hotel and Spa, which is a former Ritz-Carlton, which opened in 2001, changed the flag to Autograph in 2007. So Powerscourt, it's on an estate of over 1,000 acres. And we've got our own spa there. It's a destination spa, swimming pool. We've over 90 suites in Powerscourt. So there is not an issue with an upgrade there. Lots of space, again, has that estate feel. There's fishing on it. We've got Powerscourt waterfall. The gardens are amazing. They came 3rd best in the world by National Geographic.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I was up there last week. They're amazing. So Powerscourt then, it's got its own river walk. It's distillery there, which is on site, the Powerscourt distillery. They have the Fircullen whiskey for the whiskey lovers. Love it myself. So we say guests and 2 18-hole golf courses. So what we say is after you've toured Ireland and seen all of our properties and our industry colleague properties, come up to Powerscourt, do a night or 2 there, reflect on your visit to Ireland or your time in Ireland, and then Powerscourt's only about a 35-minute journey drive to Dublin Airport.
Okay.
Guests can stay, get up early, and take the flight out then, departing from Powerscourt back to around the world then, So that's kind of, as you said, you're the expert, 5 to 7 days in Ireland is exquisite. And then some clients like to go off and do, you know, Scotland or the UK or into Europe, or over to Italy if they're doing 2 weeks. So we could be on the way or on the way back, if that's what usually happens, you know.
What
Within
about some?
7 days, so you see a lot, you know, you
Yeah,
really, it's brilliant.
yeah, you really can loop Ireland in 5 to 7 days. Do you have any favorite super off the beaten path places that you would suggest for someone who has maybe done? I mean, I think Dublin is someplace that you should be, at least for the city experience, you know, every time you go to Ireland, in my opinion. But let's say they've, you know, done the Rock of Cashel and they've done the Ring of Kerry, which I think, again, that's another thing that you could very easily do more than once. But any hidden gems that you love?
Well, very neutral territory because we don't have any hotels down in Cork, and it's a personal favorite. My husband is from Cork, so we go down there a lot. And West Cork is absolutely stunning. It is still quite undiscovered, and you know, whilst we get a lot of our international visitors going to Kerry and to Cork, but West Cork is a personal favorite of mine. I don't know whether have you been, Sarah?
I'm trying to think of the name. I want to say yes. There's a couple of abbeys down there, ruined abbeys. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
is that where, and I'm trying to think, West Cork, that would be the peninsula head where they saw the Lusitania. Is that?
Yes.
Okay, then yes,
Correct.
I've been there.
Yes, absolutely. It is indeed. No, you're very correct. Like all of the Kinsale, that area is a small fishing village.
Yeah, yeah.
Gorgeous, huge amount of seafood down there. You know, exquisite food. And it is quite undiscovered, you know. And then you've got kind of the real West Cork place, Skull, Ballydehob, and that, you know, like the locals are just so friendly, and the scenery, the beaches are phenomenal down there. So certainly, I think Cork is quite the, you know, I'm a little bit biased, but it's quite the undiscovered county. But West Cork is stunning, and I plan to go down there myself over the summer.
Okay. Yeah. No, we definitely did that. So back in the probably around 2002, 2003, my mom's really into genealogy. So,
Okay.
and her uncle did quite a bit of work and then passed a lot of it on to her. So we know where a lot of, well, she knows, I should say, where most of our Irish ancestors came from. But one of them came from a town called Youghal.
Oh, they're all very lively in Youghal.
So
Youghal is beautiful, yeah.
we went there, and we've actually stayed there, I want to say 2 or 3 times now, because it's close enough to Cork and to Cove that you can get in for a day, but you're not staying. My parents aren't city people, so you know, they don't want to stay in Cork. I've stayed in Cork and had a great time, but they prefer to stay further out. So we stayed in Youghal, but we went down along into Kinsale and Skull and a few of these other places you've just mentioned, again in 2011. So that was our really off the beaten path trip.
Yeah, no, that is. And Youghal is one I wasn't expecting you to say. Yeah, no, I've been there, I've stayed there many times. It's a really pretty area, beautiful beaches, small little towns.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that area, yeah, absolutely. West Cork, East Cork, and Cork, you know, it's stunning. You know, it's great, and you know, it's Cork is the second capital, you know, second largest, but they always say they're the real capital of Ireland. There's a big funny rivalry between, like they say, the Dubs and the Corkonians. You know, we'll give
Corkonians.
the Corkonians, yeah. But no, it's great. I mean, you know, look, I think everybody has their real divisions of Ireland, and if you've been or you haven't been, or what you feel or your memories. But we're all about the welcome, and we'll never change, and that's in our hearts, and we're lucky.
Yeah.
It won't ever change. So we'll go that for the future, for sure.
Absolutely. I want to touch on one more thing. I don't want to go over a ton of time here, but it reminded me when I was just talking about my ancestry, that so many Americans have Irish ancestry, and I believe the tourism board has connections with people. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I remember this from a webinar. For family members who want to search out their ancestry and learn a little bit more about where they're from. And I've seen grave sites. So I'm sure other people, if they have that interest, would also be interested in going and seeing, where their family is from in Ireland. Is that something that either say Glenlo or Powerscourt, or I know some of the on-sites can do that. But tell me a little bit more about that, if you know.
Well, you've hit a really important point, and I suppose what drives huge connection and draw to Ireland is that amazing history and connection between Ireland and the US, and obviously emigration and diaspora. And a couple of years ago, our National Tourist Authority launched what they call the Gathering, and it was hugely successful. And it was all about coming home and bringing perhaps your mom and your dad. They would have had their parents were first generation Irish, and they came they emigrated. So it's about bringing the multi-generation family back to Ireland, and as I said, going maybe to that home that that their great grandparents lived in and is still there, and that's hugely emotional. It is, because it feeds that connection, and so that has been a huge part of Irish tourism for many years, and there is a massive connection, as I say, between Ireland and North America. So I think to answer your question, our hotels per se at the moment don't offer that designated service, like a genealogy butler or service. It is something we are looking into. A lot of things are changing right now, and we're looking at creative ways and what we need to do. But there's a lot of services. I mean, we have what we call the census service as well, which is a government-led service. So a lot of things can be sourced like that. I even found out where my great-grandmother was buried from it only a year ago. So it's complementary. So, but there is also all of these services out there, and certainly, our concierge are phenomenal in all our properties, from Glenlo to Powerscourt to Westin to InterContinental, all of them. So they can assist any of your clients pre-arrival and direct what services they need to use, and help them to do that and that direction. But no, it's a really important point, and thank you for bringing it up. It binds and connects us, and it's when we meet somebody, we're walking along, we hear an American accent. There's a conversation starts with most people. Where are you from? And and trying to get that common denominator. And I've been there to Boston, or so we love it. We absolutely love it, and it's a big foundation of our business. But certainly, as I said, the Gathering was proof of that. I think it was it's well over 5 years now, but there was a huge media campaign by Tourism Ireland and Forge Ireland, and it was so successful. So proof of the point, in your point, that's a huge draw for Ireland,
Yeah. No.
Sometimes people want to find out they're Irish, sometimes they don't.
I mean, I think I'm personally really interested in the genealogy and the DNA, and I've done my 23andMe, so I know and thanks to my mother and my great uncle doing the work, 23andMe has said, oh, you're from, and they've gotten really good, by the way. They can narrow it down to the counties that you're from.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But thanks to what my mother and my great uncle did, I actually know a lot of the towns. Not off the top of my head right now, but y'all specifically being one of them. But I know there's some from a little further north, like Central Ireland as well. So it is really interesting.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm fascinated by it too, to be honest. And even as I said, I trace mine with my grandmother's mother, and of course I never met her. She died when my grandmother was very young. But I actually was able to pull out, her wedding certificate, where her signature was, and my great grandfather's signature, and the day they got married, the church they got married in. I was able to go there, and I never knew, where my grandmother was christened, the church in Dublin. Where she was born, and all of these things, and we're so connected, and it's not that far apart, our generations, when we look at it, or their great grandfather or grandfather, great grandfather, great it's not that long ago. And I think it is a really emotional journey when our visitors come to Ireland and they do it, and they visit the area that perhaps their great grandfather, as I said, was born, and the house is still there. It's fascinating. It really is.
Yeah.
And what a country.
I'll touch on the connection that you've mentioned several times now. You obviously go to Virtuoso Travel Week, and
yes, yeah.
Matthew's always talking about the power of human connection. So not only are we, being Americans and Irish, connected by the shared history and, the immigration of so many Irish into the States. But I think, and you did bring this up very early on, in that, when you're a tourist in Ireland, the Irish love talking. They love sharing their stories. They love sharing, they want to know about you. So, you can go into any pub in a small town, and the next thing you know, you've got 6 best Irish friends.
And you might not just go in for an hour. It could turn into quite a few hours. You have
exactly
quite a few friends as the hours go on and on.
Yeah. We spent I think it was probably only one night, but we were in Westport, and there's that pub there, Maddie Malloy, owned by one of the band members. So we went in, and he wasn't there, he wasn't playing, but they had live music, and there was an Irish, of course my grandmother's with us, and at the time she was in her, 70s. And so of course all these Irish men want to talk to her. And one of them, and I wish I could remember his name. I know he's passed away, but he was actually a singer, and you can find him online. He started singing, and my grandmother started singing, and she has a beautiful voice. So the two of them are just sitting at this table in this pub in Westport, singing all these Irish songs. And people were paying attention. I've never seen such a cool experience.
You know what? That is such a gorgeous story, and like that will always hold in your heart. And it's not that uncommon, I have to say. It is part of the culture. We love to sing. I'm not going to do it today, but we do love to sing, good or bad. Sometimes a Guinness or whiskey helps our confidence, but and songs you didn't even realize you knew. But it is all about that, and we call it a sing song, and we love a good old sing song. We love to do that. Honestly, there's a lot of pubs around Ireland that really, the authentic standard of music is wonderful.
Yeah.
It really is great, and like that, it can just start so organically, the sing song, and And I have to say, most of the musicians that play are really open to that. Like, you know, obviously they want to perform their songs, but if somebody's got a good voice or they know the words, or they're happy to have a bit of what we call crack, a bit of fun, and get somebody up on the stage and get them involved. And that's, you know, we're open-hearted people, so we like that, you know, for sure. It's really nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to hold you to the singing next time I see you in Vegas.
Well, what goes in, what's on in Vegas stays in Vegas. Give me a year to practice. We'll all be back fighting furiously next year for sure.
Sounds good. Steve, this has been great. Thank you so much for talking with me about Ireland.
My pleasure, Sarah. And look, you know, as I say, we're reopening everything now. That's the big news from Ireland. You know, we're moving very well. We got that today. So, you know, we will be back up and running soon, and we can't wait to welcome you. You've been to us. We can welcome you back, you and your family, and all of your clients. And you know, when I can help, wherever, for certainly hotels that I represent, or anything I can help for Ireland, I'm very passionate about it. I'd be so thrilled to hear from you. I really will, you know, so thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll see you soon, Sarah.